The Supreme Court is hearing a case that involves anti-abortion measures in the state of Louisiana. Now, let me give you the details on the law that passed in Louisiana, and then I'll tell you why this is such a complete disaster. Back in 2016, the Supreme Court actually struck down a Texas law that required doctors at abortion clinics to have admitting privileges at nearby hospitals. Okay, so let's stop for a second. Abortion clinics do not need admitting privileges at a nearby hospital. This is like a made up rule that it creates this undue burden on abortion clinics. So if they can't get admitting privileges at a hospital, they end up shutting down. It's a roundabout way of restricting abortion in any given state, right? Texas tried it and the Supreme Court shut it down. Now Louisiana is trying it, right? They passed the law defying the Supreme Court ruling from 4 years ago. And we have a new Supreme Court with two new conservative justices, Neil Gorsuch and Brett Kavanaugh. And so they're listening to this case in Louisiana and they could rule differently. And that's why it's such a disaster. Now, Nancy Northup, president of the Center for Reproductive Rights, countered that if Louisiana's law is upheld, clinics across the state of Louisiana will shutter, leaving only one clinic and one doctor to serve the needs of 10,000 women seeking abortions each year in the state. And as Justice Alana Kagan mentioned, it's perfect. She mentions that hospitals can deny admitting privileges for a number of different reasons. Sometimes the hospital itself is pretty conservative and they don't want anything to do with it. Also, the decision could rest on a number of patients a doctor has, on whether a particular hospital needs more providers, and it could even rest on a general view that they don't want abortion providers in that hospital. Now, I mention all of this and I give you the facts because it's relevant to how Chuck Schumer has handled this. Now, Chuck Schumer decided to give a passionate speech that I give him credit for as the Supreme Court was hearing this case, and they have not made a decision on it yet. And I want to show you what that looked like, and then I'll give you the response from Chief Justice Roberts.
They're taking away fundamental rights. I want to tell you, Gorsuch, I want to tell you, Kavanaugh, you have released the whirlwind, and you will pay the price. You won't know what hit you if you go forward with these awful decisions.
Right, so Schumer woke up. Like that was the most passionate I've seen him in, I think, ever, right? And I love it, I love it. We need people to actually fight because there's a lot on the line here. Now, let me give you the context into what Schumer was saying because he was citing something that Kavanaugh actually said previously. Schumer's statement was apparently a reference to Kavanaugh's angry statement to Democratic senators at his 2018 confirmation hearing, where he said, "You sowed the wind. For decades to come, I fear the country will reap the whirlwind."
So if Schumer had said it outside of that context, say it actually, when you just hear the quote by itself, it doesn't sound that good. If Trump had said it, I'd say, whoa, 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 be careful with that kind of language. So I think it's fair to say Schumer should be careful with that kind of language. On the other hand, the guy he said it about said the same thing to him. So neither one of them, I think, should have said it. I know they mean it in a political context, but Roberts is going to jump in with great, I don't know if it's feigned outrage or true outrage. I don't know if he knows what Kavanaugh said, but he certainly hasn't spoken out against Kavanaugh.
So he did speak out against Schumer and said that that type of language is dangerous and that there's no such thing as conservative justices or liberal justices, that they want to hear the facts of the case. And he basically was not happy with Schumer. And the thing that frustrates me about how Democrats respond to criticism when they come out too strong is they immediately back down. And that's what you're about to see in this next clip. Take a look.
For a woman's right to choose, I will continue to fight for the women of America. Now, I should not have used the words I used yesterday. They didn't come out the way I intended to. My point was that there would be political consequences for President Trump and Senate Republicans if the Supreme Court, with the newly confirmed justices, stripped away a woman's right to choose. Of course, I didn't intend to suggest anything other than political and public opinion consequences for the Supreme Court, and it is a gross distortion to imply otherwise. I'm from Brooklyn. We speak in strong language. I shouldn't have used the words I did, but in no way was I making a threat. I never would do such a thing. And Leader McConnell knows that. And Republicans who are busy manufacturing outrage over these comments know that too.
Dude, don't apologize 3 different times. I get it. You want to say something like, hey, I shouldn't have used those words. I'm going to get past it. But then what you should do is say, now remember, Justice Kavanaugh said the same exact thing and give the quote. So people go, oh, wait, then should Kavanaugh apologize? Flip the frame. Should Kavanaugh apologize? It's a fair question because it seemed like he was threatening us, the senators, when he said we'd reap the whirlwind, right? So because if we say the same thing and you criticize me, I guess you should criticize him. How about Donald Trump, who said that people should be taken out on stretchers at his rallies if they protested him? He celebrated a congressman who actually did body slam a reporter.
Right, but you know what the difference is? Trump never apologizes.
That's right.
Trump never apologizes, and then everyone forgets about what he said and they move on. And so, in this case, Schumer was right. Schumer was right. Was his language strong? Yes, but he didn't say anything wrong. I mean, he's referencing what Kavanaugh said during his confirmation hearing in 2018. He has no reason to apologize, period. But I just think it's ridiculous, and I hate how quickly they cower once there's a little bit of pushback.
And Trump is the one that was asking for the apology. If you're Schumer, you have to say, under no circumstances would I ever apologize to Donald Trump, who instigates violence nonstop in this country, who said there was very fine people on the side of the Nazis in Charlottesville. No, I do not apologize to Donald Trump. He owes an apology to the whole country. For God's sake, fight, man. You tried it for a second, and then all of a sudden, sorry, I'm so sorry to Donald Trump. Oh, come on, man, get in the fight. So now, one last thing, I want to go back to the substance of that abortion case. There's so many points I could make about it, but they say, oh, our ostensible reason for making sure you have admitting privileges at a hospital, because if you have a problem in the center where you're getting the abortion, we want to be able to check you into the hospital right away. We don't want you to be endangered, etc. But actually, most of the people that have a problem, if they have a problem at all, have it when they go back home. And if you shut down all the clinics except one in Louisiana, they'll have to drive way longer to a hospital. So it actually makes no logical sense. In fact, why don't the doctors have those admitting privileges? Because one doctor, for example, has seen 70,000 patients over the last 23 years. And in all those cases, he'd only had 4 patients admitted to a hospital because it's incredibly safe. So they're saying, oh, well, hey, you don't admit enough people to the hospital, you didn't have enough problems in the procedures you're doing. If they had more problems, they say, oh, you have too many problems. And so what winds up happening, they shut down almost all the clinics. So rich women can get abortions all they like. They can fly to California, they can fly to New York, they can drive anywhere they want, they can stay in a nice hotel nearby. But poor women and middle class women have their rights robbed.
And after they're forced to bring that pregnancy to term, right? Do they get any help by the very people who claim that they're doing this because they believe in the pro-life movement? No, of course not. They get thrown away, their children get thrown away as nobodies, as people who are draining resources from society, and that's it, they're left on their own. This is, look, do I think that there are some people like pro or anti-abortion people out there who are genuinely religious and they genuinely believe it's life at the moment of conception? It's not about making a woman feel punished for her decision. Yes, those people exist. But the conservative movement, the very people who push for these types of regulations, the vast majority of them only want to punish women for being sexually active, for doing something that they look down on, for thinking that these women are immoral, right? That they're too loose. That's what it's really about. We know that. It's so obvious. Because if they were genuinely pro-life, they would be livid about all the children who have died in the cages that Trump has been keeping them in at the border.
Thanks for watching The Young Turks, really appreciate it. Another way to show support is through YouTube memberships. You'll get to interact with us more. There's live chat emojis, badges. You've got emojis of me, Anna, John, JR. So those are super fun. But you also get playback of our exclusive member-only shows and specials right after they air. So all of that, all you gotta do is click that join button right underneath the video. Thank you.